At this time, would you please rise, take your hats off, put your hand over your heart, and follow our young people in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
People that are joining us today: Heidi Gansard from the University of Nevada, Special Assistant to the President, Dean of the Business School, Greg Moser, Mike, I'll eat your name up. I have ever since you came to town, Mike Kuzmiski. I'll get it someday, you know, Mike, you know, an old boy out of East Texas. I figure you're going to be here a long time. I should get it before I croak. Pedro Martinez, our superintendent of schools, and the president of our community college, Maria Sheehan. I want to welcome all of you and thank all of you for being here today. At this time, I think we're supposed to call the roll.
Sheevy, Breckus, Zadra, absent Delgado, Dorch, Jardin, Cashell.
Here. Today we're here to celebrate our accomplishments and our financial conditions, to go through them. We're coming into a new era for the city of Reno. We can't keep doing the things the way we've done them in the past. We have to change. Our people from IBM that came here with the smarter cities, we have everything in this city, in this county, to succeed with. Our community needs to work together and quit bickering. We need to connect better with our university and open up the university and let the people know we're a university town and we have a great asset. And we need to collaborate with each other and with the university and everybody in Edon and the community and the counties to make ourselves a stronger city. We just finished our legislative session, and together our staff working with Washoe County and the city of Sparks, our city staff did a fantastic job. Our bills passed, and we stopped any unfunded mandates from the legislature. You know, a year or so ago, we were very fortunate. I don't like to use the word steal, but we barred somebody from state government to come to go to work for us. And he's done an outstanding job of putting together a young, outstanding staff and a very competent staff. He has made government more open and has made it so it's very visible. Our checkbook is on the internet, our payroll's on the internet, our bankings, any contracts we have are on the internet. So it is with a great honor for me to be able to introduce and to bring forward the gentleman that's going to lead this parade today. Oh, before I call him up, I did forget one thing. I jumped out. We have public comment. Mr. Dene, this is the best crowd you'll ever have. No, Mr. Dene, you use that microphone over there.
Mr. Mayor, for one time, I'd like to look at the people I'm talking to instead of have to look at you. How would you have to look at him and be able to look at all these pretty ladies out here and these handsome men?
You've wasted a minute of your time.
No, I haven't. The clock hasn't started.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Just kidding.
We do it every week, so be patient.
It isn't even working.
It's on, Mr. Dene.
Do I have to use a parade ground voice?
No, sir. You can talk normal if you know how.
I'm Sam Dene, for those folks who have been living in a closet for the last 20 years. Sam Dene, the encyclopedia of Reno government. Sam is an Air Force. I'm Sam. Sam is an Air Force Academy graduate, spent many years flying fighters and bombers, defending our nation against enemies inside of the border and outside of the border. And this is Sam's 4,753rd public testimony before the government. But who's counting? You know, if I'd known there were so many people at the Sam Dene show today, I would have brought my guitar. I look out here, this is fantastic. Why don't you people show up at the regular meetings? Maybe if I had some support, our city wouldn't be on the brink of bankruptcy. At any rate, if I'd known all these important people here, I would have brought my guitar, and I want to name a few. Now, we've got Mike, and I can pronounce his name, Mike the Kazminator Kazmierski, right there, West Point graduate. His son, he just told me his son would just enter West Point last month. What are the chances? We got Peter DiLoretto, we got Dora Silver over there, the queen of, she wrote a book about chutzpah, but she never met Sam before she wrote the book. Now she's doing the second edition. Yep. By the way, I know I'm being a nice guy, but I have to be a curmudgeon for a moment, because last week I pointed out the terrible anti-constitutional public comment rules that you have. You removed part of them, but you didn't remove them all. You're saying that a person cannot come up here and be, what's the word here, cannot repeat something that was said before. I can come up here and say, Mayor Cashell, Mayor Cashell, Mayor Cashell, Mayor Cashell, Eddie Lorton, Mike Kazmierski as many times as I want. But according to your rules, I can't do that. Crazy rules. Anyway, maybe you'll fix it this time.
No, the chief will escort you out.
Wait a minute, I've got my
Oh, excuse me.
gavel.
Go ahead.
But there's not, all the times I have my own gavel, and there's no podium to bang it on. You're out of order, Mr. Mayor. You interrupted me. Just kidding. At any rate, luckily I get 2 more public comments before this is over. You know what the main thing that's wrong with this community, ladies and gentlemen, to be serious for a moment? The main thing wrong with this community, and look at that, the dysfunctional media just took a picture of me. Did your camera break? Look at it, broke. Look at it over there. The main thing wrong with this community is this musical chairs, career politician group of people who are supported by the vote stealers, and these people have held our community, Reno, hostage for the last 20 years. If these people were not so scared to death of Sam Dene, we would not be in this horrible pickle that we're in. There goes my time. Wait, I got a couple more seconds. I'll be able to talk about, they gave me my own copy. Did anybody get one? My own copy of I get one of these every year. It's my favorite fiction novel that I ever get during the year. My favorite fiction novel.
And you just went through what I've gone through for 11 years. It was very nice, Mr. Dene, very good. We have no other public comment. No, Mr. Dene. The gentleman in the blue uniform will visit with you. So,
I have to put up for 11 years?
sorry I started this. Anyway, again, welcome everybody, and thank you for taking time out of your schedules to be here. At this time, I'm going to call in on Andrew Klinger. Andrew, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Good morning, citizens, community leaders, and staff. Thank you for being here today or tuning in. This past fiscal year brought some good news to the city of Reno and the citizens we serve. After 5 years of historic declines, local property values are stabilizing, and our economy is showing signs of vitality. Unemployment rates are steadily dropping. Building permits are on the rise. Our population is growing, and while our region has a long way to go to regain the ground that we lost during the Great Recession, local and state economists believe our community has rounded a corner and is on the path to recovery. I'd like to acknowledge the contributions of the City Council members who left in November of 2012 and who collectively served Reno for over 50 years. Thank you for your service to our community, especially during these challenging times. I'd also like to welcome our new and current council members. We look forward to the innovative ideas, talent, and energy that our council brings to the city of Reno. Their diverse experience in planning, business development, and neighborhood initiatives has already provided our community with a fresh perspective on our vision, mission, and strategic goals. Reno remains focused on improving the core services we all rely on as we continue to exercise fiscal prudence. In order to base our financial decision-making on the best information possible, we've started a new fiscal roundtable. This group is comprised of stakeholders from the public and private sectors who are meeting quarterly to share data, trends, and coordinate forecasting. During the past fiscal year, we continued our commitment to transparency and improved service for our citizens. We streamlined our permitting and business license processes. We increased online options for paying bills and tickets. We began placing our brochures and program guides online, making them easy to access 24/7 and saving on printing and mailing costs. We've launched multiple new public engagement opportunities, including an online idea forum that lets citizens share their ideas with each other and with us. We instituted a new quarterly e-newsletter, which provides citizens updates on news and information. And most importantly, we kicked off Think Reno, a top-to-bottom culture change that encourages strategic thinking citywide. These are just some of the accomplishments worth mentioning. Let's see what our council members recall.
Well, you know, there's no I's in we and there's no I's in team. It's everything that I've been associated with has been a team effort by this council.
There have been a number of accomplishments, I would say, in the short time that I've been in office. I will say the biggest one was saving the Reno Aces and leading the charge on keeping this magnificent stadium here and this great venue that is family-friendly.
One of the things that we spent a lot of time and effort on was getting that bowling contract extended through 2030 and getting creative on how we put that contract together so that they could get the things that they wanted, so that they would feel like every year that they come, there's something new and something more exciting to get them here.
I'm proud of being a part of a lot of the things that are happening with startups and companies that, you know, are literally starting things on a shoestring. And if you can get them a couple parking spaces in front of their business, or you can help them with the business license process, making it so much easier for them to do business.
One of them that I'm most proud of is we had a failure at the Moana Pool several years ago. It went down. We couldn't resuscitate it again. And so we demolished that building and put in soccer fields that are now in use. And we've got a local organization that is looking to be able to build a new pool complex there, multi-generational, multi-function swimming service in that area.
You know, it's funny because it's always the little things that really kind of stick with me. Being able to be a bridge, being bilingual, reaching out to the community, and them having an outlet to express their concerns or their ideas. Things that for quite some time have been overshadowed because of not knowing the processes. I'm very humbled to know that I'm a voice for the community.
I've tried to focus at the council level on a number of operational issues, which sounds a little boring, but it's really, with a new majority coming on, there's new personalities, new times, and thinking about how business is done is key.
I personally think I've had one of the greatest city council to work with that this city's ever had. Everybody is just hard at work, and they're all well committed to doing what they've been doing, and they're a fantastic group of people to work with.
Our new normal is going to be a smaller, more efficient Reno government. The City of Reno's new budget is approximately $35 million less than it was 5 years ago. We are holding the line on expenditures, spending less than we did in 2006. This includes a freeze on hiring new positions and the purchase of new vehicles. It is important for our citizens to recognize that there are no tax increases included in this budget. While property revenues are projected to be essentially flat, we are hopeful that increased consumer spending will result in more tax revenue in the coming year. As we face this new normal, there are a number of challenges we still need to address. One of these challenges we face as revenues slowly recover is permanently right-sizing our staffing level, services, and programs. We have one of the lowest number of local government employees per capita nationwide at only 4.8 per 1,000 residents. We also need to prepare for future expenses. Reserve levels remain at a minimum, and unfunded liabilities remain a risk to future city budgets. Controlling the costs of retiree health care, increasing our ending fund balances, and funding capital maintenance are fiscal priority to ensure future financial stability. As we move into this new fiscal year, innovation and collaboration are the focus. We are positioning the city for the long-term sustainability. We are determined to improve communication, provide safe and livable neighborhoods, and support new economic development initiatives that are underway at the local, regional, and state levels. Throughout this process, we look forward to collaborating with our citizens and community partners to ensure that Reno is working together to be the best city in the world. Let me say that again because it is so important. Reno is working together to be the best city in the world. This coming year and beyond, we are changing the way we do business. As I mentioned before, we call this effort Think Reno. Think Reno is a process to develop and implement a strategic culture, and it starts with a plan. In February, the City Council and the senior management team held a retreat and strategic planning session to evaluate the city's vision, mission, and establish priorities for next year and beyond. After an all-day roundtable discussion and with input from various community leaders, there was consensus on the following points. Our vision: the biggest little city in the world offers exceptional quality of life, culture, and a vibrant, diverse economy. Our mission: to efficiently provide the highest level of service responsive to our community and to enhance the quality of life and economic vitality. We then established 4 strategic priorities: provide safe and livable neighborhoods, provide efficient and responsive city services, promote a sustainable and vibrant economy, and enhance communication and community engagement. Now let's take a second to hear how our City Council members translate the Think Reno vision and priorities in their own words.
We're here to steer the ship that the citizens want. And we hope that we, as a government, we do the things that our community, because that's who we work for.
The Think Reno campaign and the idea of improving communications, having safe and livable neighborhoods, those are critically important. As a new council, we want to make sure that the citizens know that we want to communicate with them on every level, on every issue, in a manner that is convenient for them. And I think that's really important to get out from behind the dais and get out in the community and really talk to our residents.
You know, the 4 priorities that we established, one of the ones that really stands out to me is livable communities. So make sure that we don't forget about neighborhoods. Sometimes we tend to think about downtown Reno, which is great, but sometimes we think about these big corridors, and we start to lose the insight of our communities, our neighborhoods, where people go to every night, where they sleep at night, and making sure those are vibrant and safe.
I am a huge advocate of technology and innovation. I think it's an absolute necessity that a city looks to that for their future. That is what is going to change it, I truly believe, for our city. I think when you look at the jobs that it creates, this is where we need to continue to be relevant as a city, and so that's what we need to really focus on.
One of the biggest is the community outreach, helping people have more of a better base of information and a reason to want to know what their city is doing for them so that they can indeed take pride in the community. You know, the Think Reno that we're talking about and the Biggest Little City campaign, we all have the same vision for this community to make it a better place to live and work, and when we work together, we'll get there.
Well, I think you've got to continually better yourself. I think you've got, I think anytime you go to a great city and you think, God, that was a great city, you always think about how great the atmosphere was and how different it was from the last time you were there. We've got to continue to move forward and continue to grow and build on what we've done down here.
The thirst for public space is so key, and communal space where people can enjoy, recreate, even if it's passively. It doesn't have to be a program special event, but just a place to go and be able to interact. It's very key, and I think it's even more key in these contemporary times where people want urban environments. And so making sure that we have spaces and places that are well maintained and kept, and these are our parks and public plazas, is very key too.
But one thing we really need to do is that's to recognize our university system. This university we have is as high-tech as anything you're going to bring to town. And we need to be proud of our university and start selling it. And that's one reason that I've proposed that we have, instead of casual Fridays, we have Wolfpack Fridays. We've ignored it for years. It's time we start beating our chest and telling everybody what a wonderful university we have.
As you can see, we're committed to making this city a better place. Your ideas, comments, and feedback are always welcomed and needed. We have several ways you can engage with us. Share your ideas with us and each other at thinkreno.org, or you can text the words Reno Connect to 22828 to sign up for important news and information. You can also call us at 334-INFO. You can email us at renodirect@reno.gov. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or YouTube. And you can always visit us here at City Hall on 1 East 1st Street. And you can also find us 24/7 at reno.gov. We've got to work together, so let's start now. I personally challenge everyone here and all of you watching today to post an idea or something you've done to make Reno a better place. Share it at thinkreno.org or post it to Twitter or Facebook, and make sure you hashtag it with Think Reno. This is the time to work together and to listen to one another. A recent example of collaboration is the Biggest Little City group. They created a local pride movement asking us to submit our personal big little stories describing why we choose to call Reno our home. This effort, biggestlittlecity.org, will positively influence the perception of our community as a wonderful place to invest, grow a business, and raise a family. You can help too. Share your story and help us spread the word. If you'd like more detailed information about the past fiscal year and the anticipated year ahead, please pick up a copy of our annual report, which is fresh off the press today, or log on to reno.gov/annual report to see an online version. In closing, we're working, we're listening, and we're engaging. Thank you for being here today. We'll close with final thoughts from our City Council on the importance of collaboration and pride for our biggest little city.
I think every generation is looking for the new place. There are cities that will pop up. I think we are a city that will pop up.
The Reno of yesterday is not the Reno of tomorrow. There is new energy, there's new ideas, and I think those are going to bring about some really interesting changes.
My biggest little city is big actions, little words. Acciones grandes, pequeñas palabras.
I would say for our city, big accomplishments, little obstacles. I think that we as a city have faced a lot of hardship and have been very resilient.
Big can do and little no. Don't tell me no. I won't say no. There's got to be a way to do it.
And we're one community, and that's so critical. The more we're working together, the more we're collaborating, the better we're going to be.
And now it's time for my favorite motion. This meeting is over. Public comment cards. Mr. Dene? Oh, no, you couldn't tell me. Mr. Dene, you have 3 minutes. No, sir, you have it right there. Well, you can turn the microphone around and look at him if you want to.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
And the microphone, no.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, I didn't even go to the academy.
Can you hear me? Why don't you chortle of my little jokes? What's the story here? Anyway, I want you to tell you right off the bat, the folks out in TV land, there were no teleprompters for the mayor. He was doing that extemporaneously. I'm Sam Dene, the Encyclopedia of Reno Government, and I've got to tell you about this little fiction book right here called the State of the City Report. Everything good in here was Sam's idea, or Sam supported it. Nice chortle. Everything good in here was Sam's idea, or either that or Sam supported it. Everything bad in here, Sam told them not to do it, and they did it anyway. The mayor started out, or Mr. Andrew, the abracadabra man Klinger, started out by talking, or maybe it was the mayor, talking about 60 years of public service up at that dais. What it was, ladies and gentlemen, was 60 years of career politicians who may or may not have been honestly elected. At any rate, they're the reason we're in this pickle. They also talked about this thing I love, fiscal roundtables. Sam has been to every single meeting since 1994, -3. Do you think Sam has ever been invited to one of these fiscal roundtables? No. That goes without saying. The fear and envy of Sam Dene is insane in this community, at least by the supposedly elected officials. Secondly, they talk about transparency. You know what the transparency is, folks? Take a look at the media, all the media around here. Look at their wrists. They all have handcuff scars on their wrists. They're not allowed to tell the truth that Sam has been proposing here and talking about year after year after year. If there's one thing that I think they did wrong among many others, was buying this building. There was a perfectly good building over there that Sam told him not to move out of, had just been renovated, perfectly good city hall building over there that they had just renovated to the tune of $3 million, and then about 6 or 8 years ago, they spent who knows how much. I'll say $30 million. The mayor says it's only $20 million. Wasted $20 million on this building when they had a perfectly good building over there. Of course, thanks to Sam, they did finally turn that building into something useful, that children's museum. If there's one thing that this community can do, and you should all get behind it, and I know you don't want to believe me, but it's the truth. I'm down here all the time. None of you people are ever here. None of you people are following this stuff, and I'm not trying to be rude, but if there's one thing that can be done, that has to be done, somebody's got to go down in the bowels of those vote-stealing machines with the vote stealers and catch them red-handed and tell them to stop stealing the votes. They need to be tarred and feathered, drawn and quartered, and then executed.
I'll let you be your own judge. I want to thank everybody for coming here. We do have copies of our annual report outside. We have copies of our new brochure that we put out to government and different people. But we have our annual statement outside for all of you to get a copy of. If you would, if you have any questions, feel free to call. Really appreciate everybody coming this morning, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you. I'm sorry, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion and second to adjourn.
The agenda is not finished yet, sir.
Why isn't it?
Because there's another item on it.
This motion, I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. All in favor say aye. Those that oppose, no. Motion carries unanimously.